Game awareness is one of the biggest factors that separates good players from great ones in Marvel Rivals. If you find yourself tunnel visioning on a single target, forgetting to use your abilities, or struggling to play in sync with your team, this guide will help you break those bad habits and level up your gameplay. And as always, I am a content creator, so I have to do the regular spiel of if you guys can subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate that. I also stream on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube 5 days a week, so make sure you're stopping by. The link will be in the description as well. All right, so the first thing that I wanted to go over is breaking tunnel vision and expanding your field of view. Tunnel vision happens when you're hyper focused on a single enemy or objective, causing you to ignore the bigger picture. This often leads to getting flanked, missing important fights, or not reacting to teammates' needs. Here are a few things that you could do to fix it. The first one is constantly check your surroundings. Move your camera frequently and reposition to keep enemies and teammates in view. Also, a small thing that you could do is glance at the kill feed. Knowing who just died on your team or on the enemy's team can help you decide when to push or fall back. A big part of this is also using audio cues. Listen for enemy footsteps, ability sounds, and teammate callouts. Marvel Rivals has a strong positional audio. Use it. A huge part of that is knowing which characters call out which ultimates. It is very important to know when that happens. That way you're not just confused when you just suddenly blow up or something like that. Another huge thing is tracking your enemies' respawns. If you just killed an enemy, expect them to return semi soon. Don't overextend into a fresh fight alone. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it where an ally will just run straight into an enemy team because they're like, oh, I just killed 3. I was like, yeah, that was like 20 seconds ago though. They're already on their way back, so like, let's calm it down there, fella. Let's bring it on back. And one of the biggest things that I could say is look at the objective. If you're too focused on fighting, you might forget the actual win condition. Always be mindful of the payload, control points, or capture zones. Winning fights is really cool, but it's really not everything when it comes to this game. Here is a training exercise that I want you guys to do to help you fix this. So I want you to go into player versus AI, have it on 3-star difficulty, because guys, you're not going to get better going up against 1-star AIs. You're just not going to. That's just clueless. So what you do is you go into that match because, hey, look, it's just you versus AI. It does not matter. There's absolutely 0 things that are on the line right there. So go into there, check your surroundings every 3 to 4 seconds, and make it a habit in the game. Every time you remember, look around. Where are your allies? Where are the enemies? Is anybody on the objective? Just things like that. It is a great training exercise to do. That way you can stay informed at all times and you can become more aware in the game. And the next thing I wanted to go over was ability management. This is using your skills on cooldown efficiently. A common issue for most players is holding onto abilities for too long or using them randomly without purpose. Managing cooldowns properly can maximize your impact in fights. So here are a few tips to help you with ability usage. The number one thing is use abilities with intent. Don't waste strong abilities on a single target if a bigger fight is coming up. Try to think, how does this help my team before using an ability? Also, tracking enemies' abilities is a huge way to do this as well. If the enemy just used their escape move, that's a great time to pounce on them. One thing that I call out almost every single match is if I ever see a Namor use his bubble defensively, I call that out because that Namor is slow and he's got absolutely no escape potential now. So if you can pounce on that, your team takes down an important enemy. Also, don't hold ultimates for too long. Waiting for the perfect moment can result in never using your ultimate at all. Use ults when they secure kills, displace enemies, or set up a team for a good fight. Not every single ultimate needs to be a 5-6 person ultimate where you get every single person on the enemy team. If you get 2, even 1 person on the enemy team, guys, that's gonna turn the fight in your favor and you're still gonna snowball them most likely. A huge thing also is balancing aggression and cooldowns. If you use all of your abilities, don't just run into the fight. Wait for key cooldowns before engaging. All right, so this is going to be your training exercise for ability management. I want you to go into that practice versus AI, have those 3-star AIs out. And what I want you to do is when you get your ultimate, I want you to find the next really good opportunity where you're either going to get a 2 to 3 person ultimate and use it. I don't want you to hold it for more than 30 seconds to a minute. If you do that, you're holding onto it for too long, you're waiting for the perfect opportunity. You do not need to do that. So I want you to do that. All right, so number 3 is going to be team coordination. Marvel Rivals is a team-based shooter, and your effectiveness is heavily dependent on working with your teammates. If you play solo without synergy, even if you're the best player in the world, there will be matches where you just lose because you're missing out on huge advantages. The first way you could do this is to communicate. Use pings and quick chat to signal enemy locations, ultimate statuses, and when to push. I am absolutely abusing my ping button. I'm just calling out where they are at all times. I don't really even chat that much when I'm in a match because there's times where I'm just hard focusing and I just kind of get lost in the game. But using pings is a great way to notify your team where you're going or just kind of give them information real quick. Also, I know this one's kind of a no-brainer, but I just want to say this anyway, is position yourself near teammates. Don't be too far ahead or behind. Stick close enough to help them. That way, if they need help, you can help them, or if you need help, they can help you. Also, try and focus on who your allies are shooting as well, or tell them who to shoot as well. Call them out. If multiple teammates shoot the same target, they will go down so much faster. And I know it goes without being said, but prioritize weak enemies or supports first. So those squishy DPS or the enemy supports, go for those first every time. And the biggest thing that I can go over is, please, for the love of God, peel for teammates. If your healer or damage dealer is under attack, help them. Instead of just chasing kills, helping teammates stay alive is often so much better than securing eliminations. Like, I'm telling you guys this with the most sincerity. If you peel for your supports, you keep them alive and they keep you alive in return. Guys, that's the most beautiful part about this game. It's amazing. That will completely increase your odds of surviving and absolutely just taking out the enemy team as well, because you can out survive them because you're keeping each other alive. You're not just focused on the enemy, you're focused on your team as well. So, as always, we're going to do a training exercise for this one as well. So this one is going to be to play with a duo partner or focus on playing around your tank / support. Make conscious efforts to move and fight with them rather than playing by yourself. Just kind of shadow them and see what they do and just stick close to them and help them in any fights. Also, positioning is a huge part of this game as well. Now, it's such a massive part of this game that I'm not even going to go over this in this video. I have a completely separate video that just goes over positioning in itself. So that link will be right here as well, and the link to that will be in the description of this video as well. So if you want to watch that one, please feel free to. It's a great video that will help you also so much. So that was number 4. This is number 5, and it's going to be reading your enemy. Great awareness means knowing what the enemy is about to do before they do it. You can predict enemy actions, you can counter them and stay ahead. So watch for patterns. Some players spam the same abilities in predictable ways. So pay attention and bait them into bad plays. The amount of times that I've seen like a Punisher use their grapple into the enemy team or something like that, it's crazy how much I just see enemies feed. So just watch for any kind of patterns like this. And the most likely case scenario is that they're going to repeat these patterns. So if you can kind of wedge yourself in the middle and break that pattern, then they're going to be lost. The next is track your enemy positioning. If you know where the enemy is before they engage, you have the advantage. If they're coming from spawn or if they're on point and you just know where they are, you can kind of go around them slightly, bait them into going one way when you're going a different way. You have the advantage on them. Also, like I said earlier, bait out abilities. If enemies have key abilities like an escape move like Namor, try to bait them to use it. Or if the enemies have support ults or something like that and you know that they have support ultimates, the amount of times that I'll try to dive on a support ultimate real quick or just support real quick to try and panic them into using that support and then backing out. Guys, they're in a support ultimate. You're not going to get anybody most likely. So just bait that out, have them waste it, and just survive. You focus on defense for that 8 to 10 to 12 seconds, and then once that support ultimate is over, that is your time to go offensive and just win that fight. So this is going to be a slightly different training exercise. I'm not going to put you guys into player versus AI. What I want you guys to do for reading your enemies is each time you die, Try to guess what the enemy was thinking before they killed you. What could you have done to counter it? And I also want you to watch kill feeds, guys. Kill feeds are a huge way to see what you do wrong in a fight. If you're out of position, I think you'll see that more likely on kill feeds. So watch those more often. All right, the next one is survival tactics. So if you're alive, you're making more impact even if you're just alive. So if you just go in there, if you're a dead player, you do nothing for your team. So surviving longer means more damage, more healing, and more impact. So a few ways that you could stay alive longer. Number one is to know when to retreat. If a fight's looking bad, you've got 2 people that are already down on your team, 3 people that are already down on your team. If you back up, you're not going to stagger your team. That way, then your team has to wait for you to respawn since you're the last person that died. And then you're coming back from spawn all slow and everything. Also, health packs are lifesavers. Supports are amazing and they've helped me out so much in this game. But guys, health packs are a different breed. They are amazing when you become self-sufficient, but if you combo health packs with also having your supports as well, you will be able to survive so much. So what I recommend you guys do is scan always for health packs and know where they are on the maps at all times. And I know I've said this so many times, but please stick with your team. That is a huge way to increase your overall impact on the game. Solo play gets you eliminated quickly a lot of the time, but staying near your teammates really helps you clump up and it mitigates the damage that you take as much as possible. And so the training exercise for this is to go into an actual quick play match, not a player versus AI one. I want you to go into an actual quick play match, and I want you to play a match with the goal of dying as little as possible. Even if that means retreating from fights, focus on staying alive longer than you normally do. If you can do that, if you could die less than 3 times in an overall match, I think that's a huge W. And my final point that I wanted to go over is adapting to a match and being flexible. So many players stick to one strategy or one character, even when it's not working, but great players adapt based on the enemy team and the flow of the battle. So if something isn't working, change your playstyle. Don't just keep on doing the same thing and expect different results. I'm talking directly to the Spider-Mans, the Iron Fists, and the Black Panthers of the world. Guys, if you are like 2 and 8, please, for the love of God, switch off of that character and try a different strategy to help your team. Please, there are a lot of characters in the game, and I swear they are all great in certain situations, but they're not great in every situation. So please switch it up when you can. That being said, also switching your positioning is huge as well. If the enemy keeps on killing you in one spot, just go to a different angle and try something else. I have a huge rule when it comes to playing this game, and it is never attack from the same place twice in a row. That way your enemy never has a drop on you and they never know where you're going to attack from next. Also, this thing is a huge important detail that I feel like a lot of people overlook because everybody's out to get the most amount of kills as possible every match. But the huge thing that I can say is play based on the objective, not for kills. Kills are awesome, like they help you and they help you just win fights and everything. But winning is the real goal, and that is based off of your objective. So please play the objective and play smart. So a training exercise for you now is go into quick play, and whether it's an objective match of any kind, whether it's to grab a point, whether it's domination, whether it's to escort a payload, I want every single thing that you do to be in the end goal of how can I secure this objective as fast as possible and most efficiently as possible. So if you want to clear out a contest point, a domination point, how do you do that? Take out supports first, DPS next, then their tanks. So do that as fast as you can, and that is going to be your training exercise. Improving game awareness is all about building habits. At first, it takes conscious effort, so it will be difficult at first. Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like it's not. But over time, these are going to be automatic skills that you're subconsciously just doing every single match, to the point where you're not even thinking about it and you're just doing 10 things at once, and you're just like, oh, I'm actually doing pretty well right now. By applying all of these fundamentals that we just talked about, you'll develop better awareness, smart decision making, and improved team play, making you a stronger Marvel Rivals player overall. I hope that this video helped, and if it did, please hit that like button for me. Comment anything that you want. You know what? Comment who your favorite character in Marvel Rivals is right now. I'd love to hear everybody's opinions. Mine is Moon Knight. I love him so much. And also, if you can, please subscribe to the channel. I would highly appreciate that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope this video helped you. I really enjoy making these videos that are educational, and I will see you guys on the next one. Later.